I saw that Marceau went live yesterday, and he's sitting over there gloating and everything about some of the notoriety that he's gained because of the fight that happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville over the weekend. Even though it was kind of embarrassing, I wanted to be very clear. However, in the moment that I acted, I was acting to protect the situation, protect my brother from further harm. And what I will tell you is I wanted to really protect Dr. Adara Collins' work because Martell was going to slap the teeth out of his mouth.
Maurice Scott recently took a major loss in court, and the outcome has left many people talking. It turns out that going after influencers like Black Titanic on social media isn't as easy as it might seem. When you step into a courtroom, you need real proof and strong arguments, not just opinions and feelings. Unfortunately for Maurice and his network, they didn't have either. They came in thinking they could use the lawsuit to gain some kind of advantage, but things didn't go the way they planned. So, what really happened? Black Titanic, known for sharing behind-the-scenes drama from the show Love and Marriage, came prepared. Maurice, on the other hand, seemed lost and unready. His case fell apart fast, with weak claims that didn't hold up. The judge didn't look impressed at all, and the whole situation made Maurice look confused and out of his depth. This lawsuit shows how reality TV stars are now dragging their drama off the screen and into real courtrooms, and it's not always working in their favor. What started as an attempt to silence a critic has now become a big embarrassment for Maurice, and it's got everyone wondering what's really going on behind the cameras.
Doing as admirable as a spouse. To roll over and suffer through it, I look at it as her standing by me while I'm standing by her. There's a difference between wants and needs. I'm a person who actually needs sex, not a person who wants sex.
Why do you need sex?
I need sex like Carlos needs mess.
Trust me, by the time you finish this video, you'll understand exactly why this could go down as one of Maurice Scott's biggest mistakes. So, grab a snack, settle in, and let's break down how everything spiraled out of control. To really get why Maurice Scott and the OWN network tried to come after Black Titanic, we have to start from the beginning. Black Titanic is a popular social media personality who shares her thoughts and investigations about the reality show Love and Marriage, Huntsville. She's known for digging into the private lives of the cast, pointing out inconsistencies, and uncovering details the stars probably hoped would stay hidden. Maurice didn't like this one bit. It wasn't just online gossip that upset him. Reports suggest that both he and the network believed Black Titanic was sharing false stories, damaging reputations, and possibly even using clips from the show without permission. They thought she was crossing a line and they wanted it to stop. If you've watched Love and Marriage Huntsville, then you know Maurice has had his share of drama, from questionable business moves to issues in his marriage with Kimmi. So, when someone like Black Titanic starts connecting the dots and shining a spotlight on past events, it's not hard to see why he felt threatened. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of ignoring her or responding through public statements, Maurice and the network decided to take her to court. They filed a lawsuit hoping to stop her from using their content and talking about them. Maybe they thought the legal system would be on their side. Maybe they believed their power and money would be enough to win. But they were wrong. When the trial began, it was obvious that Maurice wasn't ready. He came in thinking this would be an easy win, but his case fell apart fast. One of the biggest problems? He didn't have solid proof. Defamation lawsuits are serious. You can't just say, "She's hurting my reputation." You have to show real damage and prove that what was said is untrue. But Maurice's side struggled to give examples of anything Black Titanic said. That was false. Most of what she talked about came from Maurice's own interviews or things he said on TV. She wasn't inventing stories. She was analyzing what was already public. That made it hard for Maurice to convince the court that she was lying or being malicious. Another huge mistake? They ignored the protections that people like Black Titanic have under free speech and fair use laws. In today's world, bloggers and YouTubers have the right to comment on public figures, especially if they're using short clips for critique or discussion. The court reminded Maurice's team of this, and it became clear that their claim of copyright violation didn't hold water. Instead of stopping her, the lawsuit had the opposite effect. Black Titanic's platform grew. More people started paying attention to her videos. She gained thousands of new followers, and the lawsuit only made her more popular. Meanwhile, things kept getting worse for Maurice. His performance in court was shaky. Sources say he had trouble explaining why he believed Black Titanic's videos were so harmful. At times, his answers didn't make sense or even contradicted what he had said before. The judge seemed frustrated and unimpressed. Then came the moment that really sealed the deal. Black Titanic's legal team came prepared. They brought receipts. They showed clips, interviews, and quotes from Maurice himself that matched what Black Titanic had shared online. She wasn't fabricating anything. She was just repeating things Maurice had already made public. The judge listened, and it was clear that Maurice's case had no solid foundation. Reports say the courtroom fell silent as the truth unfolded. Maurice looked visibly uncomfortable. It was clear he had walked into this battle thinking he could win with his status alone, but he underestimated how strong Black Titanic's defense would be. And the worst part? The very thing he was trying to hide, his past behavior, his questionable decisions, got even more attention because of the lawsuit. Instead of silencing a critic, he gave her a bigger stage. Toward the end of the trial, Maurice's team tried to change their approach. They shifted from saying she was defaming him to claiming she was harassing him. They even said her posts were causing financial harm. But again, they didn't provide any solid evidence. If they really were losing money or feeling threatened, why didn't they bring up more serious charges? Where was the proof? At that point, it was obvious. They were scrambling. The final ruling came, and it wasn't even close. The judge dismissed the case. Black Titanic was cleared, and Maurice's team was called out for wasting the court's time. It was a total loss. But for Black Titanic, it was a major win. Not only was she legally protected, but she also came out of this with a bigger audience and more credibility. Her name trended online, and she became even more respected for standing her ground. Maurice, on the other hand, suffered a hit to his reputation that might take a long time to recover from. Fans began to question his motives. People online started mocking the lawsuit. Even some of his supporters admitted he handled things poorly. In the end, what was supposed to be a power move turned into a complete disaster. Instead of proving he was a victim, Maurice exposed his insecurities. Instead of shutting down his critic, he gave her a louder voice. And instead of walking away with a win, he left court embarrassed and defeated. Now the big question is, can Maurice Scott bounce back from this? Will he speak publicly about the loss, or try to ignore it and move on? Only time will tell.